All right. Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review. Happy 316 Day, everybody. If you celebrate, make sure to leave some beer and cookies for good old Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is not at Raw and apparently doesn't really want to be associated with the character or anything anymore. He says he's done with it, which I guess makes sense. He has kind of embodied it for the past several decades, so makes sense why he would want to retire into the sunset and everything. But nevertheless, so I wanted to do a different type of review to celebrate 316 Day. Now, originally I wanted to review or do a review, that is, of the submission match. That he and Bret Hart had at WrestleMania 13 because I need any excuse to rewatch that match. But ultimately, I decided against it. I decided I would do this match instead. Let's see where the iconic catchphrase began. And also there was a King of the Ring tournament, I guess. I'm talking about King of the Ring 1996 as Stone Cold Steve Austin takes on Jake the Snake Roberts at King of the Ring 1996 in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And Also worth mentioning, we're coming up on the 30th anniversary of King of the Ring 1996. By June 23rd, this event will officially be 30 years old. So I guess now's a good time as any, and I won't be able to do it in June because I'll be in awful month, and I already have stuff lined up for that. So I figured I would do it here, especially because it's 316 Day. Now, of course, as always, I'm not professional, not a professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time. The moment I had a good time with the match itself, not really. He unfortunately I guess we're getting right into it. If you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm gonna be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. Um, the match itself, kind of an afterthought compared to the moment. Uh, if I had to, if I had to find something to like or dislike about the match itself, starting with what I liked, it does build up Steve Austin in a big way. By this point, he is not the ringmaster. He's now being referred to as Stone Cold Steve Austin. The hair that was on top of his head has officially migrated down to his face. He actually had begun being known as Steve Austin around the time of like WrestleMania 12, but he still comes out to the Ringmaster theme, which I thought was pretty interesting. Reinvention doesn't happen overnight, but but he does still come out to the Ringmaster theme, but nevertheless, they are still referring to him as Stone Cold Steve Austin. So really getting the ball rolling when it comes to that, as opposed to Chili McFreeze, among other things, among other names. Chili McFreeze, and then was it was it Fang Venom? That was the other one. That was the other like names they wanted to come up with for him, and like they really wanted to go with the cold aspect, but they wanted a more literal approach, which man, it's crazy to think in an alternate universe, there'd be a wrestler who would be a multiple time WWF champion and would start the Attitude Era with the name of Fang McFrost or Chili McFreeze. But he did want to reinvent himself. He felt the ringmaster gimmick wasn't really working out. The fans weren't super open to the ringmaster gimmick, but yeah, Fang McFrost and Chili McFreeze. My goodness. But lo and behold, Stone Cold Steve Austin won out. I mean, crazy to think that it all began essentially with a cup of tea. The story goes that his then wife at the time, Jeannie, he told him to drink a cup of tea that she had made for him before it goes stone cold. And I wonder if a light bulb went off at that exact moment. I'm sorry, this is probably the inner child in me. I just imagine her handing Steve Austin the tea, like drink it before it becomes stone cold, and all of a sudden, like a cartoonish light bulb like goes over his head. He's like, Say that again? I don't know. Why is this the random stuff my brain thinks of? I don't know. But nevertheless, so he was big into he was majorly he became the Steve Austin character, the Stone Cold Steve Austin character, and now he is in the finals of this match. And lest we forget that this match is kind of coming about almost by accident because the curtain call had happened around this time. I did a System Shock Radio episode of the curtain call way back when, so go check that out if you want. And I talked about how Triple H slash Hunter Hearst Helmsley at the time was supposed to win the King of the Ring tournament that year, but because he got in trouble for the curtain call incident, aka the Madison Square Garden incident, he essentially was punished. You couldn't punish Kevin Nash and Scott Hall because they were on their way to WCW. You couldn't punish Michaels because, A, he was WWF champion, and B, it was '90s Shawn Michaels, so he probably would have just gotten away with it. So poor old Hunter Hearst Helmsley had to bear the brunt of that. But don't worry, I'm sure he turned out just fine. But so Hunter Hearst Helmsley wouldn't actually win the King of the Ring tournament until the next year. So instead, it's Steve Austin and Jake Roberts in this match. Jake Roberts, at this time, is doing his Born Again Christian gimmick, which is based off his real life at the time, which is something that'll be important for later. It's a surprise tool that'll help us later. But yeah, so he has that gimmick going on. It's these two meeting in the finals. And by the time we get to this part in the recording and in this video, this review, the match is already over. This is not a long match. This match is only about 4 minutes and some change. And it's essentially, I get, like I said, starting with what like Steve Austin does get like built up in a big way, I guess, against Jake Roberts. The downside is this is pretty much like a glorified squash match. Like Jake gets like little to nothing in this match. He does come back briefly, especially when Gorilla Monsoon comes out and like chastises Steve Austin, but then Stone Cold just comes right back, hits the stunner, and then sure enough, he is the new King of the Ring. He goes up the ramp. He goes up like the ramp to where the throne and the crown and the robe, neither of which he puts on. Which I get he's supposed to be more like a serious character, especially as they're slowly but surely taking off the coat. I'm not taking off the sweater because it's cold outside. They're taking off the coat of the new generation and revealing the Attitude Era underbelly. Beneath, but we're not quite there yet. But he goes the ramp. I did kind of want to see him put on the robe and the crown, because why not? It's right there. But he goes up. Doc Hendricks is waiting for him there. And then Steve Austin cuts that famous promo that we all know and love. Tells them to get Jake not just out of his ring, but out of the building, out of the WWF. Makes fun of Jake's gimmick and says the iconic line. And you talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, "I just whooped your ass," and the crowd like pops at that, and lo and behold, a legend is born in that moment. There is more to the promo. It's a very like foul mouthed and very like different promo than what they were cutting. Like this is like pretty much the telltale sign that okay, we're moving away from new generation into the Attitude Era. We're not quite there yet, but this is like one of the early signs. He concludes it with the other famous catchphrase, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. And literally that's the part that the WWE runs with even to this day. That Stone Cold said at that promo. The next day, as he was going to get his mail, he opened his door. He looked down in front of his door. He saw a pile of Austin 3:16 t-shirts, and he decided to sell them. And it became huge with merch, and the rest is history. Admittedly, it's not quite how it went down. It still took a little bit for Austin and his character to really take off. He would slowly be more incorporated into the main event scene, but it still took a little bit. It wasn't a moment boom, boom, bunch of money. Austin main eventer. It still took a little bit of time. He would slowly start to feud with Bret Hart that would lead to them doing the teasing the double turn, which would fully like finish up, like wrap up and complete at WrestleMania 13. But we're not quite there yet. But hey, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. I guess is the old expression. But but for now, if as for if I recommend this match for the historical significance, yeah, definitely, especially the promo. Honestly, you can skip the match and just go right to the promo. If you want to watch the match, you can. You're not gonna get a whole lot of meat on the bones. It was pretty much there to serve a purpose, and it definitely served its purpose like tenfold. And apparently, like the rise of Austin caught a lot of people off guard. Apparently, and I guess in that way, the match fulfills its purpose because you still have to have a finals match. You can't just hand Austin the win, even though that's pretty much what they did. You can't just hand Austin the win and then boom, cuts the promo. Oh, and the rest is history. There's still the match that he had. So if you want to look at the match in that regard, I suppose you can. But it's definitely more about the moment, and the match kind of takes a back seat. It's not the first match where this is the case, and it won't be the last. But excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this review. Happy 316 day once again. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every single time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the match, my review of the match. Do you like the match? Did you like my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.